So people often ask me this critical question, which is, how can I negotiate with my dog? And you know, it is a really good question, and I promise you I'm gonna come out with another video soon that will answer it. But today, it's the first of this two-part series because I'm gonna focus on a different but related and very important question, which is, what can I learn about negotiation from my dog? So if you find yourself constantly giving an extra treat to your beloved pet, even though you know it'd be better not to, then this video is for you. Or if you find yourself throwing that ball to your golden retriever in the park in the middle of a torrential rainstorm, then you probably already know that dogs are great negotiators. Now, I gotta tell you, I am both of those people. I throw the ball in the middle of torrential rainstorms to my dog Rosie, and yes, Rosie gets more than her fair share of treats. Now, maybe you don't have a dog, but you are bewildered how your tough-headed, take-no-prisoners boss looks like a complete puffball around his canine BFF. Well, then this video is also for you too, because today I'm going to discuss 4 key lessons that dogs teach us about negotiation. The first of these is the value of loyalty. So anyone who has a dog knows that more than probably any other creature in the world, the dog will love you no matter what you do. You know, there is this kind of funny joke out there that talks about, do you want to know who loves you more, your significant other or your dog? The way you figure this out, right, is you put both of them in the trunk of your car for 30 minutes and then open it up, and you'll quickly see the dog is the one who's still showing the loyalty and the love. So from a negotiation perspective, right, this does not mean being wholly trusting, but it does mean being wholly trustworthy. And there is definitely value from a negotiation perspective of being loyal to the things you say and meaning what you say. And we know that relationship power is found not in blind loyalty, but in being a trust-inducing and trustworthy partner. So loyalty and trustworthiness, a key lesson that I certainly have learned from my dog. A second one, very critical negotiation, is the value of body language. Any of you who have a dog know that when that dog looks at you with its sweet eyes and smiles, right, it is hard to resist, whether it's a tummy rub or a treat or an extra cuddle or an additional walk. Dogs seem to know exactly how to make that right face that melts your heart. And really good negotiators also pay a lot of attention to body language. They establish eye contact. They have an open stance. They smile. They're reading body cues. They're reading facial cues really well. One of the reasons why we know that there is better creativity, more trust building, and easier outcomes from in-person negotiation than negotiations that are over email or even Zoom is the body language and the ability to communicate and to learn through things like an open stance or eye contact, et cetera, right? And dogs are just so good at this. The third key lesson for negotiation that comes from dogs is persistence, right? Persistence wins the day. And I know from my own experience, right? Sometimes I'll be working all day and I'm at my computer, and Rose the dog comes upstairs and she starts to paw me. And I turn around and I'm like, not right now, Rosie, I'm working. I'm recording a video, right? And she paws me. And she paws me. And then she uses that body language, right? And she paws me. I'm like, okay, Rosie, I'm going to stop the email. I'm going to stop recording the video, right? And I'm going to attend to what you need. So in negotiation, right, people who have clear goals and are persistent and resilient are much more likely to achieve those goals. Now, I want to be really clear here, right? There's this fine line between persistence and being annoying. And as someone who has been a law professor for many, many years, right, I can definitely know the difference. I can really distinguish a student who is working really hard, for example, for me to choose them as a research assistant or a teaching assistant. And they do this really skillful way that gets my attention, that shows me that they're keen to work with and learn from me, as opposed to somebody who kind of keeps on tapping me on the shoulder in a really annoying way and you're just like, leave me alone. And I think dogs, right, they kind of get this. They know how to be persistent, but not annoying. This leads to the fourth attribute that dogs have when it comes to negotiation, is that they are amazingly emotionally intuitive. Somehow in their evolution, right, dogs have found this way to meet you where you are. And anyone who has a dog knows this is true, right? When you are happy, they are happy. When you are sad, they have this interesting way of comforting you and cheering you up, and they react to your mood. This past summer, my mom had knee replacement surgery. She's doing well, which is great. But knee replacement surgery, as those of you who've had it know, is always a bit challenging. And during this period, my parents were actually watching my golden retriever, Rosie. I was doing a lot of travel over the summer, and so they had her for a few weeks. And one of the things that was reported back to me is how Rosie had a very keen sense that my mom was not her usual self, right? That she was struggling both to get out of the chair, to go to the bathroom, to get her food. And she had this incredible way of comforting my mom in a way that was very different from the way Rosie typically acts with my mom. And even now, months later, my mom talks about this. It increased my mom's own affection for Rosie, her willingness to do things for Rosie, to pet Rosie, to scratch her belly. And so this emotional intuition is something that is a key skill also for good negotiators. It relates to appropriate timing. It relates to really acknowledging when someone is maybe sad or anxious or angry or hopeful, and meeting that person where they are and then appealing to their interests and helping them move the negotiation forward. And so this leads to the fifth really key skill for great negotiators that dogs seem to have at a basic level, which is the ability to bring out the best in you. Okay, that sounds really vague. What does that mean from a negotiation perspective? The reality is that in any negotiation, there are these opportunities to build partnerships, to create value, to really think out of the box. And then there are these challenges of how do I make sure I get my own share? And how do I make sure I'm not getting taken advantage of? And how do I know you're not swindling me? And so there's kind of the bright side and the darker side. And that's part of negotiation. But really good negotiators are inspiring. Really good negotiators know how to amplify in their negotiation counterpart that creative side, and then maybe downplay or reduce the tendency for the darker, more selfish, more paranoid, more fearful side to come out. And anyone who has had a dog knows that this is what dogs do in our lives, right? They're why, for many of us, we consider them our BFF. We consider them one of our family members. Even on a dark, dark moment in our life, somehow a dog can bring out the best in us. We have a lot to learn about negotiation from our canine creatures. First, loyalty. Really good negotiators are incredibly trustworthy. They are loyal and they bring out loyalty in others. Second, body language. Great negotiators establish really good eye contact. They use body language as a way to build trust and affiliation. Third, persistence. Finding a way to hang in there through those tough moments in a negotiation when tensions are running really high. Fourth, being emotionally intuitive. Meeting your negotiation counterpart where they're at. And lastly, bringing out the best in you. For a negotiator, that means bringing out creativity, bringing out trust, bringing out empathy, bringing out an ability to think out of the box. So stay tuned for this next video, which is Quiet Quitting Your Family. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button and ring the bell so that you'll be notified when new videos drop, including the upcoming one on how to negotiate with your dog. Okay, keep on watching. Bark, bark, bark.